Hi everybody, I'm so glad you're here. This video is going to be a blast today. I'm so excited. I had this thought to do a video really focusing in on some of the lowest cost items at Walmart because I do some shopping in Walmart, but like especially for random things here and there, I'll do their delivery service. So I'll use their website, and I also love to look at the makeup and try to figure out if they've got anything new. And I'll use their little filters to try and do that. And I noticed one of their filters will very easily tell you, and I'm sure many websites have this, just a range in the amount of dollars you want to spend. So I took it down to 5, and I just wanted to see, like, I figured if anywhere can pull this off, it's Walmart because they usually have the lowest prices. How much can I actually round up here to create the full face? Well, baby, I got everything I needed, you know, and more. Some things are tried and true under $5 products that I had, but I'll also be trying out some new things. If you're like, wait, what is that? Does Em have her nails painted? I even used an under $5 nail polish last night. Oh, and another big thing though, there will be times where you'll see a product on there and maybe like its original price was $6 and change, and you can look it up under the filter and it's popping up as like $2.50 or something. That happened with a certain foundation, and I thought, well, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go by the regular price, not something that just happened to be marked down, because not everybody's going to be able to find that marked down, and you know, it's just not fair. It's not the reality most of the time. So I'm going by the regular, always retail price of these items, and sold at Walmart they are under $5. All of my brushes and tools are also going to be under $5. This took some time, some figuring, but I'm very, very excited. So one of the first tools that I got this sponge from LA Colors, and it's a heat activated blending sponge. It says I'm latex free on the box. So it looks like this, and the only way I can think to bring some heat to it is to maybe put it against my coffee cup here, and we can give it a little test and see if that changes. Ooh, it made it a little lighter. Can you see that? Okay, that's kind of fun. But for my foundation, here's a category where there were not really many options. In fact, I was planning to just do a video with concealer kind of as my foundation, but then I remembered Wet n Wild Photo Focus. And for some reason I had it in my head that this was just over $5. It's actually just under $5. It's $4.98 actually, the Wet n Wild Photo Focus foundation. The option would be the matte or the dewy. I like both. I would say the matte is a little bit more of a favorite for me. I just love the way it wears, and this shade is a little bit more on point for me right now. This is soft beige, but you guys know I adore this stuff. It's crazy that it's like the cheapest in the drugstore. Now another cheap one I ran across was the Rimmel Stay Matte, which is like a very moussey full coverage foundation. It's really good. I do like it, but its regular price is like just over $6, which is still very fair. There were a few that were showing up as marked down to $2 and something, and I was like, that just seems like a under $5 item by chance kind of, so I'm not gonna do that. Okay, so I'm gonna try using this sponge. It really like blew up pretty big when I wet it down. And I guess if I wet it with warm water, it really would have like gone to a different color. It's really, really soft. Like if you're one who enjoys using a Real Techniques sponge, you would also like this texture. It's that amount of softness, but it is a more of a beauty blender shape, as you can see. Did I put down the price I paid for this? I want to say it was $3 and something. But I love this foundation. Like, this is the old news right now. We're gonna get into some different things, but this is an area where there just aren't a lot of options. And maybe you're like, well, I shop at Joe's Super Dollar and they're putting foundations at $2.99. Well, you know, I'm going with Walmart. It's just highly accessible, and that's where I get a lot of my things. So I love this foundation. I feel like it gives me really good coverage, although I couldn't call it like completely full, but it does do a lot of work, does it not? Like, I have to remember, just the other day I was talking about Danessa Myricks, and that stuff really blanks you out in a lot of ways, but still gives that natural skin-like finish. This one doesn't really blank you out, but I do feel like it kind of gives me that skin-like finish. And I'm gonna be really annoyed by these few flecks of glitter, because I had glitter in my eye look yesterday yesterday and it like won't go away. It wasn't really tiny, super fine, just washes away makeup-y glitter. It seemed like bigger, annoying glitter. Next up for concealer, I could have gone with the Wet n Wild Incognito, which I know I like, but my Walmart is now carrying NYX, and at $4.97 they have the HD Studio Photogenic Concealer, so I thought I'd try something new here. I got the shade CW03, I think it's called Light, yes. All right, so this is gonna be, we're just trying it out right now. Hopefully it's light enough. Whoa, it looks really peachy. I just like, it looks like a straight up peachy corrector. What? Should I have gotten Fair? It didn't look that peachy in the tube. Okay, this could be really good or really meh. We're gonna get right in here with our blender. Okay, it's blending into the skin. Maybe even neutralizing a little bit. Like, how is it that peachy? It's not going to be a problem, but I guess maybe if I wanted brightening, I should have gone with the Fair shade. I just went for what I thought would be a skin tone match, especially because at the time of purchase, I thought maybe this was going to be my all-over foundation. It neutralized, but not amazingly well. Here's what we're going to do. I've got my Incognito. That's under $5. There was a while, guys, I was really wearing this a lot as a combo with my Photo Focus foundation. Not using a lot. I would say this product is really good. I'm not sure that it goes as far as e.l.f. Camo Concealer does on the coverage, but it's in the ballpark. And Camo Concealer is going to come in at around the $6 mark, so that's kind of outside our budget here. That brightened us up, certainly. This shade that I have is called Light Beige. Okay. I feel a little better about that now. It's just interesting how peachy that light color turned out to be. Maybe somebody needed that info today. Somebody needed that explanation. For powders, I found it interesting how a lot of loose powders run a little bit higher than pressed powders, but still a lot of powders are above the $5 mark, so I'm going with Rimmel Stay Matte here. This is kind of another area where there weren't a lot of options. So this is in Sandstorm. I love this stuff. I would highly recommend this. Even my Wet n Wild loose powder that I love so much, you know, it's over $5. It really is. But this, like, I can put my brush in, not get too much powder on, and it effectively mattifies. So we just need to do T-zone here because this foundation doesn't make us like super sticky. I know how it wears. I'm very familiar with this combination of products so far, with the exception of the NYX, so I know that this is going to wear nicely on me. Coverage is rocking, and we're going to do a full-on look. I even have like my favorite lashes that came in under $5. This powder, $3.17. The cheapest bronzer, and actually a really good bronzer option that you can get, is the Rimmel bronzer. It's called Natural Bronzer, and it's $2.39. And I purchased a new one in the shade Sun Bronze. It's a little deeper than the shade I usually pull out, which is Sunlight. You can tell kind of the shade difference there. So I'm excited to see how we like this one. Not super powdery, but it is kicking up a little powder. Ooh, I like that color. I like that little depth there. Very buildable. Wet n Wild Wet Shady Beaches is another like love, a total favorite actually. I don't know if I just decided to try something new in this category or if that was showing up to be just over the mark. But yeah, I went like category by category for makeup with the $5 filter on and the like accessible at my store filter on, so I knew I could get it. Oh, I bet I know what happened. Wet Shady Beaches might have been like $4.97. I feel like that's the regular price for it, but they might not have had that in stock at the moment. And that's why maybe it wasn't showing up, because I was looking for what could be delivered that day. This is pretty. This is a just fine everyday bronzer. It's reminding me a ton of the new one from L'Oreal, actually. The one I just reviewed, the L'Oreal Infallible Fresh Wear Bronzer in medium, like just about this tone, maybe a hint deeper. And I guarantee you it was several dollars more than this. Okay, still trying to keep kind of the lightness in the center of the face, so that's why I'm not really like draping the bronzer over there, but yeah, feel good about that. It's a classic thing you can count on. Like, these products would be like, okay, I lost all my makeup. I need to run in somewhere. I want to not spend much money at all. you could count on these, okay? You could totally count on the Rimmel powders. For blush, here's an area where there are lots of options, okay? I could recommend a Profusion cheek palette, and you would be in under $5. The Profusion Blush Hour liquid blushes, both of these are things I've talked about fairly recently. Those liquid blushes are like $4 and change. They're great. The Wet n Wild single blushes are amazing. I love those, like Pearlescent Pink and Mellow Wine. Those are great. But another awesome option that also contains a highlight, and I was not coming up with highlights under $5 for whatever reason, so this is good. This e.l.f. Bite Size Duo, I chose watermelon because I haven't used this one in a while, but I also love pomegranate and I also love spiced apple. But this is beautiful. This is great for every day. It's been a while since we've used this one. So first off, the blush. Just everyday lovely cheek. Kind of reminds me of the shade of the blush in that Pure palette that I just used the other day in my like simple chic pulled together makeup look, whatever you want to call it. I'm trying to pull this up a little higher. I love these little blush duos. I'm probably even more excited about e.l.f.'s blush duos than I am the eyeshadow quads, frankly. Look at that. That is such a pretty shade. It's kind of enhancing the cheekbones, actually. And that's matte, the blushes. But here is where this really unexpectedly beautiful glow will come in. And it's in this highlight. Look how brightening. Like, who would have thought? Oh, really? These are the kinds of videos that make you question your last Sephora order. Because you're like, it can be this good? Of course. Drugstore makeup has gems. And like I said, I'm doing some experimenting today paired with some tried and true. This is a tried and true. Love, love. And then we can always like kind of bop over things with our damp sponge. I kind of do that anymore. Like if I have it just sitting around, I kind of just go over the area. Oh no, I forgot. I've been using my over $5 brushes. I totally meant to use this brush for several of those steps and forgot. Oh man, I am so sorry. This e.l.f. powder brush, this isn't their big total face brush, but I thought I could use this for blush. I thought I would use this for bronzer and also highlight. Oh man, I'm kicking myself. And powder too, because I actually found it to be about the size of the e.l.f. small tapered brush. Look, like if we wanted to add a little more of the Stay Matte, if we're feeling a little, like it's so kind of right for this area. Like I feel like we might have a big multitasker on our hands. I got to use this again. I got to pull this in later. Like look. It could swirl on some bronzer. It might be a little small feeling, but it could do it. Totally could do blush, like not even a question. And then you could pinch it and kind of get your highlight a little more pinpointed too. That brush and the sponge were basically gonna be my face look. I'm so sorry I forgot that. I can't forget all these eye brushes now that I have out. For the eyebrows, I'm gonna use my Wet n Wild retractable brow pencil in Ash Brown, and it's kind of the thicker one, and it's got the little spoolie on the other end. Sometimes we call this lovingly Nice Ash, and it's got a teardrop shape, like kind of a bigger teardrop shape design. I say bigger because I also have a Kosas pencil that's doing teardrop in a miniature way, so this seems really big to me after using that, but it fills in just fine. She still smells like crayons, but we love her anyway, because she's a workhorse and she can be counted on. Color is on point. Nobody at the end of the look would start looking at the brows and make some assessment like that she used a drugstore dirt cheap pencil. Honestly, everybody is so like thinking about their own things day to day. I think we live life sometimes with the assumption that everyone's looking at us and making a judgment, or we plan for what someone's going to think about us. Nobody's really paying that close of attention. I mean, maybe some people are, but I think the vast majority of people are tied up in their own issues. I could be wrong here in some other scenarios and situations, but I speak of my interactions with people in school drop-off lines, or my lack of interactions with people in school drop-off lines. These people we have other things to worry about. Great little fill in here. It's like riding a bike. Every time I come back to this, I can do it still pretty quick. And I like being able to brush through because sometimes I might get a little bit of excess in certain areas. I forgot about brow gels. So I'm gonna make a bet here that I'm pretty sure this would be under 5, this Wet n Wild Mega Clear that I have. So we're gonna go with that. That will be our brow gel today. It will get it done. You can feel it working. Kind of wet, but yet it's not throwing on too much. I can't believe I forgot to use that brush. All of my brushes, I think that one was $3, but I made a note here on my phone that all of the brushes I picked were 98 cents to $3. Like, what? And this was gonna be a lot of steps, and I'm confident that it could have done all the things I needed it to do today. For eyeshadow primer, we gotta branch out here. We gotta try something different. And this is gonna really play into our look because I have some sparkle in the eyeshadow, but we can't use the Milani, okay? We can't use that one. We have to use the Profusion Pigment Base eyeshadow primer. They have this in natural. They also have it in white. I was just swatching it out yesterday. This will give some serious blanket out coverage to the lids. So if you've ever been sitting there wanting that from me, you're getting it today. So I'm going to squirt a little bit onto my finger because I have a feeling a tiny bit will go a long way. Oh my gosh, it feels tacky and it obviously blanked it out. Okay. Okay, I hope we don't have creasing. So the amount that was on one finger, this is going to be all extra here because the amount on one finger was more than enough of what I squeezed out. Holy cow. Bringing in a bare finger just to help smooth it about. Wowza. So talking about eyeshadow, here's another area where I made a list of a bunch of other good options aside from what I'll be using today. The Profusion 10 pan palettes, those are like $4.97, $4.98. I've talked those to death, but if you're new here, bare, smoky, mauves, any of the color families that appeal to you. They're 10 pan palettes, generous sizes of colors, great, thoughtful color layout and color choices made, and really good pigment, so could totally pass for a high-end look. The Wet n Wild 5 and 10 pan palettes both fall under the $5 mark. The 10 pan palettes are going to be $4.98. What a steal. The 5 pan palettes are $2.98. They also have e.l.f. bite-size quads that are $3, and the hard candy quads, which I will be reviewing soon, $3.98. So plenty of options under $5. I even also, I think I'm going to save these for another video. I got a couple little Maybelline singles for, I can't remember what I spent on these, $2 or $3 and change. They're not the best deal. Obviously, it's a better deal to get more shades in a palette, but I'm going to be playing with those in a future video. So given all of those good eyeshadow options I just read off to you, I'm going to use a 5 pan palette from Wet n Wild that I haven't used in a while called Camouflaunt. And it's got that sparkle in there, and I thought with a base like this, maybe that would be fun, and you know, just some everyday neutrals are in here as well. So yay! All right, I almost reached for my usual brushes. Where will we start? I've got this Wet n Wild brush. It's kind of like a crease brush. These would be the 98-cent options. Does anybody like have these little Wet n Wild brushes in your regular rotation? Let me know. They're really soft. I can remember when they first came out and I saw them at like Walgreens. And I remember there being a lot of raves about it. Now Profusion brushes, I don't know what the deal is, but I was searching for like my single brushes that I use on there and they weren't coming up. There were some brush sets, but those certainly weren't under $5. So I was like, okay, I'll just work with something new here. But if you can come up with the Profusion, like the crease brush, the small pointed brush, obviously those are things that I really go for. I'm building a little bit. This brush is very, like, giving me a real soft application. So it's taking me a few times going back with the shadow. The shadow is pigmented. The brush just isn't, like, really laying it down in a huge way. But we're getting that whole transition-y area, like crease and above, okay? That shade right there, it's matte. This is another Wet n Wild brush. It's kind of flat. Head on, it just looks like maybe that's a flat brush, but see how it's kind of chunky? Okay, so we're going to go into our dark shade here, and we're going to start patting this in the outer corner, and we'll just kind of see if this can do enough wedging for us. It's patting it on well enough. Typically what I use for this is a Morphe flat brush, which is very affordable, but it's not at Walmart. can't believe I didn't use that e.l.f. brush for face stuff. Watch me now use it for the next 20 videos. Had it all laid out and everything, but muscle memory took me to my brush holder. See what I'm doing here with this really deep dark, it's a really dark cool brown. And I've just used this brush and frankly it's been pretty easy. It's giving me a softness up into my crease. I look like I've got eyeshadow on my lids, but that's just the primer, remember? Primer was really all about it. All about covering that lid. What if we took a little bit of this shimmer right here? See how it's kind of a peachy gold? Golden peach? With that first brush we used, maybe let that graze over the edge. Okay. And then I have this smaller brush from e.l.f. called the Eye Crease brush. It's really little, but it doesn't get quite as pointed as my Profusion small pointed brush does. So I feel I'm lacking some control with this. And the Profusion brushes, like if I would have found them on there, I'm pretty sure they're under $5 a piece, but I couldn't find them. We have like 3 shimmery things happening here. One is like warmer, one's cooler, and then we've got this glitter, and I just thought, you know, going over that base, I thought it would stick. Now the base has been sitting there a little bit, but it still seemed a little tacky. Am I really doing back-to-back glitter days? Just wore glitter yesterday. This is a really pretty color of glitter. It looks somewhat gold, somewhat kind of copper at times. I'm just using my finger because that's where I feel like I have the most control. Yeah, this is going to be glam. This is like a party look. Here's where we are. Those lids are twinkling. I'm thinking of taking a little bit of that shimmer because it needs to ease in from somewhere. So a little bit of that peachy kind of shimmer right there. It actually kind of looks pretty and it creates a fade, and then I'm going to have to go back and add more dark. Glitter's just fussy, y'all. It's just fussy. Nothing more you can say about it than that. But it's fun to have the option, right? And we can clean this up. We'll have some eyeliner going on and we'll clean it up. But I wanted to have some fun today, all right? And I can see how well it actually sticks to the primer. Okay, I have yet another brush from e.l.f. It's like that eyeshadow brush, only squattier, and it says smudge. And I thought I could go into my dark shadow. And heck yeah, smudge it on my lower lash line. Yeah, it's really like not too thick at all. It's got a little chunk, but it's really able to confine the color where I wanted it. I think it's important when doing like a money-saving kind of look like this to not just present the ultra-natural option, but give something like where, yeah, we tried that and we went all out. Look at that, that's nice. Not to toot my own horn, but it can be kind of tricky to bring in eye brushes that you're not used to using at all, but the look came together well, and I think that speaks well to the ability of these Wet n Wild brushes that I used. So I had the flat one and the fluffy one, and then I had a smudge brush from e.l.f. and I had this Eye Crease one, and they were able to pull it off. Now I have from Wet n Wild, their breakup proof, waterproof, retractable gel liner in the dark brown shade. You might know that I'm a fan of the like liquid liner that they offer, but I thought let's try the pencil. It's got a lot to go over here, considering all that glitter and stuff. Thing is, I feel like this glitter is more fine in comparison to what was in the Hard Candy palette that I used yesterday. This liner, as it stands now, granted it is brand new, but it's going on pretty easily. It's gotten all across my lash line. I'm just kind of like making sure it's nice and even here because we do have a lash as well. Oh my gosh, it's getting kind of caked with some glitter where it had to go over. It's okay, liner. Let's put it into 4-wheel drive now. Let's get through that stuff. All right, I'm lined. This breakup proof gel liner, that's actually pretty good if it could get through all this. Trying a new mascara in the under $5 category. There were some other options, like I know Lash Blast was showing up in some different ones. Oh, I'm also going to use my Wet n Wild lash curler. This was like $1 and change for sure the cheapest. It does have some squish. But this, I got this False Lashes mascara from Profusion. The packaging is really pretty. And we're just gonna see. So we have a brush with short rubber bristles. They taper toward the tip. The girl in the picture on the box was obviously wearing actual false lashes, so come on now, Profusion. It'll take you from this to this if you put on false lashes as well. If you can look past the circus on my lids right now, you might see that I'm building some length. I think I'm going to need to go back to this eye. It went on all right. It built some length, not much thickness. So I'm going to get going on this eye and then return. Sometimes when you make the return, then it's able to build. I'm impressed with the amount of squish in this Wet n Wild lash curler. I remember, I think I talked about this in the video where I was remembering a lot of the ways I started out with makeup, but some of those like Revlon lash curlers, at least the ones from the olden days, like, they had no squish. Couldn't squeeze down into anything. And I just thought that was the way it was supposed to be, and just accepted the fact that I couldn't curl my lashes. I definitely don't like how this curls them in a different spot. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but it's not really curling from the root. Might have just been user error this time, but like my Shiseido just kind of jumps in there and really has a good angle with it, you know? Again, it's doing length, but it is not giving me like big lashes. Okay, building a little better now. Coat 2 over here. See that? Superhero is a problem because it's so good and it's so quickly good that it takes away all your patience for the other ones. Is school still in session for you guys, wherever you live? This will be going up on Saturday, and my kids will still have a few days left. It ain't holding a curl. I can see the droop. Not a fan. Next up, my favorite lash comes in under $5. These are $3.97. They're the Kiss My Lash But Better, and the style is called So Real, and I love these. So I'm gonna put these on, and for the sake of time, I'm not gonna like go through the whole process, but I'm just gonna pop them on, and I'll be right back. Guys, these lashes. I love them so much. I love them. I love them. They're so thick down at the lash line, and then they just flutter up. Oh, they're so good. They are a masterpiece. If I could redo the wedding day makeup, oh, please put these on me. I had a little lip look in mind. I have a NYX lip pencil here in mauve, and this is like $3 and change. I have a 98-cent Wet n Wild lipstick here in the shade Black Orchid. And then I also have a gloss, an e.l.f. lip lacquer, and this was $3 in the shade Wild Rose. So I could see all those things going together. What I first want to present to you was what I was playing with kind of in prep for this yesterday. I wanted to do kind of like a little blotted lip with this deep dark shade. So like I apply it, I just kind of dab it on. Like I'm applying very little pressure. And yeah, it's not even. Like I'm just applying it. And then take your finger and just like, you're wanting to smooth the color, but you're also almost trying to pull some of the color off. Look at that bottom lip, like this blotted, kind of stained lip vibe. It's not that hard. Use your pinky for more precision. Ooh, guys, I love all makeup. I'm a lover of all makeup. I can appreciate makeup that costs me more money. I love the drugstore. But I mean, we went dirt cheap today. And can you argue with it, really? Oh, look at this berry blotted lip. What would happen if we did just pull in a little liner? I'm just making it slightly more precise on the outer edge. I'm not trying to like remake the color. This is a nice pointy new lip liner. Did I say the shade? It's mauve from NYX. I'm too happy with this right now. I don't think I want to go over it with some gloss. This has kind of like a milky pink look. Let me swatch it for you. It's pretty, and I'll get use out of it on another time. There's actually a really nice texture in these e.l.f. lip lacquers. I've had them before. I had like a really pretty shimmery one. Still do. I love how that little 98-cent lipstick gave us something that we'll probably wear really well. And you know, you can control. When you get a dark shade, I've always said this about like, what is it, Revlon's Black Cherry. You get a dark shade, you're not confined to just wearing that one way, full out, applied, completely opaque on the lips. You can change it, you can make it sheer, and I just think that is so pretty. And I mean, the eyes are glam. You could have used the glitter or not. We went with it. The skin looks amazing. Nothing over $5. Nothing over $5. What are the stars here? What are the stars? If I were to pick a top 3 or 4 from this video, I think the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Foundation, you know, tried and true. I know it works. I know it wears well. This is not the dewy version, but you could get the dewy version and that would be good too. This blush and highlight is absolutely like cherry on top, you know, watermelon. Watermelon is the shade here. The eyeshadow, I know I love these Wet n Wild little palettes here. It's giving me a real special occasion vibe, right? The lashes too, and this lipstick, Black Orchid. Try it, you know? It's great. I had so much fun doing this, you guys. Thank you for taking the time to watch. Thank you for your interest. Let me know what your favorite part of the look was or any favorites that you have that are under $5 at Walmart. And I will see you again soon. I love you. Bye.